Praise the Lord and welcome to our weekly 30-minute podcast, The Elephant in the Room with Bishop Michael Bellamy. Our podcast will cover various topics that are often overlooked, misunderstood, or even controversial from a biblical perspective. We're blessed to have a team of wonderful producers who want to make each episode something that will be enjoyable and informative. During today's episode, my guest is Elder Michael Pierre Bellamy Sr. He is our eldest son. Michael has been married to his childhood sweetheart, Amanda, for 19 years. They have 10 children, and some are active in the media ministry here at CTCM. Elder Michael is a spiritual leader at home and in the local congregation. He's a successful entrepreneur, the owner and operator of Real Deal Laundry. And friends, he is the real deal. In today's episode, we will talk about building strong families and relationships. I'll be back with today's episode. Pierre, welcome to the Elephant in the Room with your daddy.
Hey, Dad.
Wow, what an honor to have you to take time out of your super busy schedule, leaving work, I think, and coming directly here for this recording. So I really, really appreciate that. So we're talking about family. And I think that you qualify very, very well to talk about family. You and Amanda, having been married for 19 years, 10 children, and you're doing an amazing job of raising your children. And now you've got a newborn baby girl. What's the newborn's name?
The newborn's name is Araya Catherine.
Araya Catherine.
Yes.
Wow. What a beautiful name. And what a beautiful baby. How old is Araya?
Araya very soon will be turning 4 months.
Wow. That time is flying so fast. So with those 10 children that you have, what is the span of the ages?
Well, Araya will be turning 4 months, and then our oldest, which is Michael Jr., he is 17, but he'll be turning 18 in April.
Wow, so there'll be another adult in the house.
for a short while.
Yeah, at least for a short while. Before we get too far along in our discussion here, our dialogue, Pierre, just for the record, for those who don't know, I must say, we believe a family consists of a male husband. And I say male husband because I have been in the presence of females who said her husband was at home and she was talking about a female. I was like totally confused. So when we speak of family, we're talking about family based on God's definition of a family. A male husband and a female wife, and if God has so blessed them, along with their children. Pierre, you're doing a magnificent job, and Amanda is doing an outstanding job in her role, helping you. Is there a secret to your success as a husband, father, and entrepreneur?
Well, I would say that as a husband and a father, what made it seems easy to me was having a really good dad who raised me, who taught me how to be a husband and a father. So having a great example that came before me and observing the relationship with you and Mom, I think that was able to carry on into my relationship. And then just watching other families at church or within the community and picking out different characteristics that I thought were very strong in implementing those things in my life. I think that's what helped to develop me as a husband and also as a father.
So you were watching your mom and I. You were observing other families that were building strong, healthy marriages and relationships. You looked at the core characteristics of those families, took note of them, and then you carried them over into your marriage and relationship and family.
Yes, it's more of a natural learning process.
Mm-hmm.
As you're going through life, you're learning these things.
Yeah.
You're picking out things that are of value to you.
Yeah.
And as you become an adult, those things come natural because those are the things that really stuck out to you, and it shapes you as a person. And you don't necessarily go around with a notepad taking notes,
Yeah.
But you're just adopting those things as you develop.
We're going to talk about some of those core characteristics or values that you observed, that you transferred over into or carried over into your marriage / relationship and family. Before doing that, I thought before we sat down, I took you and John out with me on jobs when I was doing plumbing and heating and air conditioning. We were in all kinds of environments, basements, roofs. We were in some very expensive homes, and we were in some homes that I really don't want to remember that we visited. I don't know how old you and John were. We were out in a very exclusive area, and I was trying to get a unit heater on top of a platform for this indoor swimming pool that these doctors owned. And you guys must have been, 10 or 11 years old?
You know, I do not remember exactly how old we were, but
Yeah.
I definitely remember. I remember that day.
You remember that heater?
We got it up there.
We did. I think I'm like, push, Pierre. Come on, John, push.
Yeah, we got it up there.
We got it up there. I did with you and John. Cornelius was blessed. He was fortunate. I don't think he ever had to go on any jobs, or I don't think I ever took him out into the field with me. And of course, I didn't take the girls, but I did with you all, with my dad did with us. The 9 boys, the 6 girls. The majority of us worked with our dad on the laundry truck when he was working for Capital Laundry. And I was just really amazed when you came to me, I don't know how many years ago it was, and say, hey, Dad, I'm starting a laundry business. And immediately I was like traumatized. Oh, no, not the laundry truck. So this carries on from generation to generation, the work ethic, doing the work, not being afraid to work long hours, to work hard, but smart, and then having that entrepreneurial owner-operator mindset. What are some of the core characteristics that you observed in other healthy / strong marriages, relationships, and families that you said, hey, I'm going to make sure that that's in my family as well?
Well, the one that comes to the top of my mind is the husband or father leading.
Okay.
And leading by example, especially when the kids are around. It's so important if you're teaching your children a lesson that you're not doing the opposite. So you're practicing what you preach. And I think that's one of the things that I definitely took from you.
Yeah.
Riding in the car, and I paid close attention to you following the speed limit.
Yeah.
And I would just think in my head, what does he do when we're not in the car?
Pierre, I was just thinking, I wouldn't want you riding in the car. I wouldn't want you to ride in a car with me when I'm driving 2.5 hours home. It's a total different thing. But we had the family in the car, and of course, you want to be careful with your family. Obey the speed limits and keep everybody safe. Plus, the car that I was probably driving couldn't go too fast anyway.
Yeah, but those little things like that, when you're growing up as a child, you pay very close attention to those things. And when you become a husband and a father, you say, you know what, this is important that I keep my family safe.
Yeah.
And not be reckless.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I that's one of the things that come first to my mind.
You said you observed the male, the husband, as the leader. In this culture now, a lot of times they don't believe in roles. Many of them believe in 50-50, so the man does not necessarily have to be the leader in the family. And that's nowhere in the equation of building a strong family. It's not predicated on the man being the leader. So let's tap into your experience, 19 years of marriage, with these 10 successful children that you have. Do you firmly believe that it is absolutely and unequivocally the responsibility of the husband, father, to take the lead?
Absolutely. Let me just say, when I first saw Amanda, I knew I was going to marry her.
Yeah.
We were only 14 years old.
Really?
Yes. We have a very outstanding relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Again, from 14 years old, even up today, I'm knocking on 40. Our relationship is evolving and continues to grow. But at the end of the day, we both understand what it takes for our relationship to remain successful.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things is that I'm the man, I'm the husband, and ultimately I am the one responsible for the security of the home.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by security, I'm not just speaking of protection, but I'm also speaking of financial security.
Okay.
Of course, with God's help.
Yeah.
But I had already determined, even as a teenager, that if my wife did not want to work,
mm-hmm.
she would not be required to work.
Yeah.
And so it was necessary for me to put myself in position
mm-hmm.
To be able to take care of a wife. And I had a good idea that I would have many children.
Well, your paternal grandfather had 15, 9 boys and 6 girls. Your mom and I have 6 living. We lost Daniel, so we would have had 7. So yeah, there was a pretty good chance you would have a decent. Well, you passed me up, dude. You got 10. Congratulations. Keep going. Amanda, you're talking about Amanda. At 14 years old, you knew you were going to marry her. How do you and Amanda deal with stress and the pressure of being parents? Every family has stress. It doesn't matter how much they love each other, respect each other, and understand their boundaries and roles. Every family has stress. How do you and Amanda deal with stress and pressure?
This is another area where I really appreciate Amanda and our relationship,
mm-hmm.
Because we both understand that what our limits are,
mm-hmm.
what our roles are, and these are things that we discuss privately to determine how we would best handle situations before they occur. So Amanda generally is with the kids day to day throughout the course of the day. And when it comes to heavy matters that require stress, I want Amanda to remain beautiful
mm-hmm.
as long as possible. So when situations like that arise, those matters are brought to me.
You do the heavy lifting.
I do the heavy lifting. I'm also the disciplinarian.
Okay.
When there's a situation where discipline is required, that is brought into my office.
Literally.
Yes.
We're going to take a break here, friends. This is Bishop Michael Bellamy. I hope you're enjoying our podcasts and subscribe to our Facebook page. You will find our weekly 30-minute podcast on many of your favorite platforms. Would you please tell your family and friends to listen in as well? We would also love to hear from you. Feel free to connect with us on Facebook and via email at theelephant2022@gmail.com. Friends, I'm sitting and talking with our eldest son, Elder Michael Pierre Bellamy Sr. And you may want to know, how is he a senior and he's my son? It's because he has a middle name. And I don't. I always wanted a middle name. And unfortunately, Mom and Dad didn't think about that. Well, they probably were running out of names anyway. But I wanted to make sure that Pierre, and we call him Pierre, that he had a middle name. And then he has a Michael, who is his junior. Pierre, I think that parents should be healthy in order to have a healthy family. I have observed over the years dysfunctional parents. And what I observe is many times dysfunctional parents contribute to the mental and emotional unhealthy state of their children. In your opinion and experience, how important do you think it is in order to maintain this mental and emotional healthy balance in a family? How important is it to you to pray with your children, take them to church, teach them in the home, and then spend quality time with them?
Yes. Again, this is one of those things that I learned as a young child growing up through observation. And, what's unique, I won't say many of us, but I'll say for myself, is, as you're growing and you try to pull away from those things that you observed and that you were taught.
Yeah.
But then you get to a point in life where it begins to tug at you and you realize that those are the values that work.
Yeah.
If you want to have a healthy family and a healthy relationship with your spouse. So praying is essential. In fact, there is not a day that I do not go out to work that Amanda and I do not pray together in the morning. And Amanda prays with the children when they awake. Of course, I leave extremely early in the morning. We attend Sunday school. We attend worship service. We attend Bible study. Now it's virtual. But another one of the things that I picked up from my youth that I also implement in my home that I got from you is I do the Bible lessons. Especially, I don't know, you may remember, but remember you did the Bible lessons during Christmas?
Your mom would not allow you all to open your gifts until I did the Christmas story. And I was like, Marie, these children are ready to open their gifts. She says, no, she was the enforcer there. So I got to give credit to whom credit is due. She says, no, we don't open gifts until we read scripture and understand, so they understand what this is all about. So that's how we developed that every Christmas ritual, I would say, of reading scripture while you all were sitting and waiting impatiently to get to your gifts. So you do the same thing with your children. You're teaching them in the home.
That's correct. We're teaching our kids in the home. In fact, our oldest three, Michael, Martell, and Elena, they learn to read by reading the Bible.
Oh, wow.
That's how we taught them to read.
Now, I have not heard of that. Only time I think I've heard of that is maybe from somebody back who was born like 50, 60 years ago. So that was their first textbook.
Yes. Up until about 4 years ago, we homeschooled.
Yeah.
And before we went into any academic lesson, first it was a Bible lesson.
Yeah.
And so we would open the book and we would start at Genesis and work our way all the way through Revelation. When we finished, we started all over again.
Wow. So not only have you taught them, you're the spiritual leader in your home. You and Amanda have worked together in order to teach them academically, and they've done very well, attending some of the best schools in the Chicago area. How well have your children embraced your leadership within the home? I know I gave my dad and mom a hard time, and you were not like me. You were a good kid, but I was, I don't even talk about that. But how have your children embraced your leadership and your values?
I think the level of respect that my children have for me is extraordinarily high.
Okay.
We invite friends over sometimes on Saturday for breakfast, and some of the comments that I would get was, when you walk in your house, you know that you are the man of the house because of the respect that you receive.
Yeah.
And that comes from hard work.
Yeah.
They see you going out to work each day. They see the amount of time you spend studying the Word. They see you spending time praying and fasting. Those elements, respecting your wife, ensuring that the household has everything that they need from day to day.
Can we just hit the pause button there? Respecting your wife. You respect her as your wife, the mother of your children. You treat her, you talk to her like a lady.
Oh, yes.
And the kids observe that, and they, in return, respect you for respecting her.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly expect my sons, should they get married, to pull from the example that I set forth and what I learned from you on how to respect their wife, ensuring that she has everything and all the tools that she needs to function from day to day. It's very important.
Yeah. When you all come in on Sunday, you're among some of the first that arrive. The grandchildren, most of them come down to my office, to your mom's office. As a matter of fact, Matthew, I don't even know how old Matthew is. I called him my twin. Matthew came in this past Sunday, and he said, "Hey, Grandpa." And he just kind of walked around, and when he got done, he just walked out. So developing that relationship, bringing them to church, making them feel comfortable, not only at home, but in the house of God, teaching them. But here's the thing, Pierre, with all that you have on your plate, how do you manage to spend quality time with them?
Well, Saturdays is usually blocked off.
Okay.
But we do a lot of projects together.
Okay.
In fact, we're working on projects in the home now. And what I try to do is assign different tasks, and we're working together, team building, in their birthday celebrations. It's a lot of, even though I have a lot of responsibilities here at the temple, at work, what have you, having time with your children is really important.
Yeah.
Because as they grow old and they have their children, you want them to have great memories of their childhood.
Yeah.
I have great memories.
Oh, yeah. Your mom made sure that you all went to, what was the place in Ohio or someplace where amusement parks and all those. She wanted you all to thoroughly enjoy your childhood.
Yes, it's very important to have those great memories. I still have them, and I want them to have those memories to cherish and to have something to give to their children.
Yeah. I remember one Sunday after we had gone through the whole day, You said, Dad, I'm taking the kids down to Buckingham Palace.
Fountain.
The fountain, yeah, Buckingham Fountain. I'm like, it was, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock on a Sunday. And even though you had put in a full day here, it was important to you as you are continuing to build your strong family, continuing to build that strong relationship with you and Amanda, to take the kids out and let them just enjoy themselves. So they're definitely going to remember that. Let me ask you, as we prepare to close here, Pierre, what has been one of your biggest challenges in these 19 years, 10 kids, and how were you able to deal with it?
Before I answer that, let me just say, as I was listening to you speak, one of the key things in having a relationship and earning respect mutually is being able to keep your word.
Yeah.
If you make a commitment to do something, you need to find a way to do it.
Yeah.
Especially when you're dealing with your children. You don't want to throw out empty promises.
Yeah.
We learn in sales, it is best to undersell and overdeliver than to overpromise and underdeliver. And as you were speaking about some of the things I do with the kids, even after a long day at church, I tell them I'm taking them to Buckingham Fountain. We going to Buckingham Fountain.
Yeah.
But one of the challenges that I have most recently, I would say within the last 4 years, is integrating our children in the outside school system.
Yeah.
They are being exposed to different things that we never would have exposed them to.
Yeah.
And then being able to come together as a family for our meetings and discuss those things and explain them. Most of the time when I see it, I try to get ahead of it.
Okay.
Because a lot of times the first things they hear is what will have the most impact.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would say in recent years that has been the most challenging, but we're doing our very best.
So after having homeschooled them, then sending them out to private schools, and even in private schools, children are children, and some of them come from not sanctified, holy, God-loving, God-fearing families, but you're still protecting your children. You're continue to educate them on what they see, what they hear, and explain to them what it is.
Exactly. And while most of our children attend a private school, we do have one, Martell, who attends a public school. And it was very important that I had a conversation with him, letting him know that he was going to see some very strange things.
Heathens.
and, I told him, Martell, if it appears strange to you the first time, that means it is strange. So don't become familiar with it.
Yeah.
Don't become used to seeing it.
Yeah. It's not normal. I'm going to put you on the spot. This last question, and do you believe that women have roles in the family and in building a healthy relationship?
I absolutely do believe women have roles in the family and in building a relationship. There are many, but if I can just select one right now, it would be if you're a wife, to be a support to your husband.
Yeah. That goes right back to the foundation of why God gave Eve to Adam, to be a support.
Yes.
Yeah.
We as men, we do not get it right all the time.
Yeah.
And for some of us, we do not get it right most of the time.
Yeah.
But regardless, if it's your husband, you have to do whatever you can to support him. It's also very important to feel the atmosphere when you have those hard issues, to test the atmosphere to see if this is the time to bring certain things up.
Yeah.
But that would be the one that I would select to pick out of the many.
In closing, Pierre, if there are some young couples out there who are, they're just getting started, maybe some that are engaged or want to get engaged and marry and have a family, in a sentence or two, maybe three, what would you say to that couple that wants to get started or that's just getting started with a family and a relationship?
Well, the first thing I would say is that your relationship with God is very important. You're going to have to love God with all your heart, soul, and might in order to have as a successful relationship as you would want. Mm-hmm. That's number one. Number two, you have to be realistic. Mm-hmm. It's good to have some striving goals, some reaching goals, but don't be unrealistic about what the expectation should be. Yeah. And then listen to each other. Mm-hmm. Amanda and I have been married for 19 years. We have not had one railing argument.
Wow. I'm stunned. We got to work on that.
And I think that helps with our relationship.
I'm sure it does.
When there's a tension, mm-hmm. instead of railing at each other, we sit down and listen. And I'm a listener. Mm-hmm. I think that's what helps me. Yeah, I listen, understand, mm-hmm. and respond instead of going back and forth. It's not healthy. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, did you hear that? Pierre and Amanda have been married for 19 years, and they haven't had a good, healthy argument. That is commendable. Pierre, this has been, thoroughly enjoyable sitting down, having this conversation with you. We invited Amanda to come on with us. She's home with the children, and because she understands her role and she has to make sure the children are taken care of, she declined to join us for this conversation. But this has been really, really enjoyable. Friends, that's all the time that we have for this episode. Hopefully sometime in the future we can get Pierre back and dig a little deeper about what it means to build strong families and relationships. I hope you have enjoyed today's episode, and be safe, stay healthy, God bless.